Guys, what is up? Welcome in. There's not much going on tonight. Felt like it is tonight. Normally I always do that. Let me finish this. What movie did I watch last night early morning? Dude, I watched The Amateur, the new movie that came out, but that's the only movie I've seen in the past few days. I don't know, people that keep asking me about movies. How am I doing? I'm doing all right, man. You know, your country had a big meeting with my country's advisors around in the United States today. So we'll probably get an update on that tomorrow. Maybe there's already been an update. I don't know. This was kind of like big news that came out. Spanish activist Isabel Peralta, known for her statements such as "This is not migration, it's an invasion. Spain is Christian, not Muslim," has been sentenced to prison, inciting hatred. And see, the thing is people think I'm being hyperbolic. They think I'm exaggerating it. No, if you say we want no immigration or we want limited immigration, they will jail you in Europe. It happens to people. This is another country now. You can add Spain to the list. Trump tariff pullback is infuriating. He owes his supporters an explanation. Before it was okay, now it's officially gaslighting. What are you talking about? I mean, the 10% pullback was because the yield got out of control. They had to pull it back. So then they pulled it back to 10% on every country and kept it on China. You see the video of the Muslim migrant that went in a church in France and started cursing an old lady and saying he hopes she dies in Arabic, started cursing Christian. No, I didn't see that. You know, I've seen videos like that, though. Not too surprising. There's definitely a big difference between the, how do I say this, acceptance that Muslims will have for other religions versus Christians' acceptance. That's why the West is being destroyed. Bill Maher tweet, bitch. I saw your tweet. You saw my tweet? Which tweet? I haven't tweeted. I don't think I tweeted in a while today. The whole EU is becoming the very thing they stood against. Yeah, you know, I saw in Germany the AfD, the alternative German Deutschland party, whatever. They're now the #1 party. They're like the most popular party. Now, people say it doesn't really matter because the elections just happened. The thing is with Germany is, and a lot of these European countries, there is a shift, like it's inevitable. These people are just, they are being replaced by immigrants. This is just what's happening. We can see it via the demographics. You can see it in the United States too. But in Europe especially, it's 10 times worse because they're more liberal. Like in the United States, if we were more liberal, Trump would have been in jail 100%. Like a good example. But we're just not liberal enough, so they couldn't get away with it. They tried doing it. I mean, they upped Trump's charges, 34 misdemeanors to felonies. Nobody's ever seen it, especially for a president. It's unprecedented. Called The Art of the Deal. Well, I think, I don't know. If you wanted Trump to keep tariffs on everyone at whatever the rate was, you know, the crazy high rates, once the yield went, it was going to be a problem. The 145% to 20%, exempting all smartphones, electronics. I mean, it was 4 days ago. Press secretary says Trump has spine of steel. Are you just overreacting? Yeah, I saw that. Well, it's also important to understand liberals tried manipulating that and saying that was 99% of goods from Canada, that Trump cut it down. You know, when you look at electronics and whatever Trump also took the tariffs off of, it's only 25%. So 25% of their goods are now at 20% tariffs. So, I mean, obviously that was a weak move by Trump. That was a really weak move. I really can't swing that outside of there was some lobbying done by Apple and other big companies that need electronics from Canada from China. What's the Whitmer photo? Oh, when she had the binder. What a terrible optic moment that was for her. My goodness. I don't know who. I mean, you know, you try and go to the White House. You want to be bipartisan. You're signing something that's good for both the right and the left in Michigan. But then I think Trump told her, he's like, hey, Gretchen, now we're signing a bill to remove all immigrants. And then she's like, oh, no. No, I'm kidding. That's not what happened. But I don't know. She was not happy about something. He's like, I don't want to be seen in the Oval Office. Now, I don't even know what that is. Like, why would you're going to be photographed if you go into the Oval Office, and then putting a binder over your face makes it worse because it makes you look really weak. Oh, here it is. She temporarily shielded herself from the cameras using folders. Just a bad political look for Gretchen. You can see some reasons he might do it, but he needs to explain this one. The problem is he's not explaining this particular move. It's too much to leave hanging, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, also, it's a weekend. He announced it this morning, so you have to give him time. You know, the press hasn't even been able to catch Trump within the last 12 hours since he announced it. So whenever the press catches him and he takes questions, he'll have to address that. You know, lowering the electronic tariff to 20%, and so much for a potential 2028 presidential run. I mean, I understand the idea of trying to appear bipartisan, and you know, the liberals are doing, well, we like the auto tariffs, but none of the other stuff. That's their whole thing. Because they did, I mean, Bernie Sanders called for tariffs. Many of them were calling for tariffs. They were saying, well, I mean, it was like a billionaire's dream to bring in all these immigrants. Also, if you're a billionaire, ship off the jobs because you can get higher margins, easier cost of production in other countries. So it's like this pro-American, anti-billionaire stance to be pro-tariff and anti-H-1B. So they're like pro-tariff to a degree, but they're like only on the auto tariffs. But I mean, this is just a big flub by her. This is your typical political flub. And she knows it. You don't get why she's even there to nod at Trump for 10 seconds. Well, it's like this bipartisan thing, and they were passing something. It was like an order that was good for Michigan, like a bipartisan thing with fish and protecting. There was like a invasive species of carp or something. But I mean, it's just to me, with Democrats, if you're trying to win a primary, it's not going to go well. You buddy with Trump. I mean, who knows though? It is a while away. People might forget this, but it is a funny moment. Bannon owned Bill Maher. Yeah, but Bannon kind of said some bullshit about the 22nd Amendment. He's like, well, Trump's just going to run as VP. Well, he can't do that according to the 12th Amendment. So I'm not sure exactly what his plan is. But he said Trump was going to get a third term. Absolutely pathetic optics. Just put your resting bitch face on like she always does. Yeah. Well, she had it on a little bit. She can't hide that. Saw on X, Starmer might resign within 12 months. He's facing heat from his party. The fastest downfall of a Western leader has ever had. Well, look at his approval rating. Starmer's approval rating ever since that attack, the knife attack, to where there was almost like a civil war, it's minus 40. He immediately, after he got elected, that happened, and he immediately was instant minus 30 approval. He is hated. Starmer, and it's good. I mean, Starmer and Trudeau, very similar in terms of how bad their approval ratings are. I guess Trudeau, his approval rating was past tense because he's not there anymore, but Tulsi at UFC tonight, so is Cash. They do these UFC gimmick showings. Like half of the administration goes to these UFC events, or half the cabinet. It's like, I mean, I guess. You'd have more respect for her if she flipped the camera off, covering up her face is outrageously cowardly in front of portraits of George Washington. I know. I mean, you wonder, like, what even is the context in that? Because you obviously, you know, you're going to the White House. You're going to be on camera. She was talking. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that was... There was some rumor that Trump was, like, signing this bill that she didn't approve of as well. So she, like, it's just a horrible look. Even if that's the case, like, imagine Trump's like, now I'm signing this immigration bill, and she, like, covers her face. It's just pathetic. You live in Michigan, and you had much more freedom during COVID than so many other places in America. Michigan's, I mean, they do like Whitmer in Michigan. She's got a pretty good approval rating, but pretty much every governor has a good approval rating. Like the average governor approval rating is like plus 20. But for her having a really good approval rating is more impressive because it is a swing state. You hate Starmer and you're American. You see he's trying to push that BS adolescence film. Like this white kid that takes after Andrew Tate. It's just total propaganda based on stuff that doesn't even it didn't even happen. I mean, they deal with knife crime with minorities from third world countries as the main culprit. They create these fake stories, and then he's like, we need to show this. It's just like legit state propaganda to schools. It's just such a good example of how demoralizing it is in Europe, where you have these events happen directly because of immigration, and then they blame it on natural born young white citizens, and then say it's because of the manosphere and Andrew Tate and all this stuff, and you need to be soft, you need to be, if you're a dude, you need to be liberal. That's the thing. You see this all the time. Look at like male versus female, young people, 18 to 24, 18 to 25, whatever it is. It'll be like men are like plus 12, plus 14 conservative, and then women will be like, what is wrong with men? I don't know what's wrong with them. They should be plus 40 conservative, not plus 12. They're right. There is something wrong with young men. Why are they not plus 50 Republican? Are you more bullish during the tariff pause? I look big picture. I understand Trump is laying the bedrock of the administration. It is the more bullish time frame. We're not going to see any more crazy drops. It's basically impossible because of the negotiations. Unless Trump reinstates tariffs on countries, which is very unlikely, I don't really see us going down much more, but we need to stabilize and get the Fed cuts. Did Apple make Trump cave? Yeah, they lobbied really hard, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, but that was my thought. What's your input on Trump saying he'll give 5 million illegals a path to citizenship? Well, the farmers started complaining because they said, we're not going to have anyone to work the farms. And so Trump said, all right, you know, there's certain jobs to where Obviously, that was a situation to where he made a deal with farmers, I think, mainly. You know, these are jobs that, look, I don't like caving on anything when it comes to illegal immigrants. But obviously, if you're in a situation to where if you deport all these people and you screw a bunch of farmers, you have to balance these things in a way. Rory is winning the Masters. Yeah, that's who I picked. Wait, let's see this. Oh, I did not want to go to this. 62% chance. Bryson DeChambeau, the young gun. Well, he's not young anymore. I remember I used to watch some golf. He was young when I was watching. He's got good strength, DeChambeau with the driver. But yeah, Rory McIlroy, that's who I picked. And I'm making some huge money. I'm making some plays. I didn't bet on it. Play Trump Israel video today. I mean, what's the video? We'll just look up some of the Trump stuff that happened today. Oh, well, here's the video.
I want to wish the Jewish people in America and Israel and all around the world a very happy Passover. Every year at this time, Jewish families celebrate God's liberation of the ancient Israelites from slavery in Egypt, guiding them through the prophet Moses on a 40-year journey to a very, very promised land. The story of Exodus, which is retold around the globe and all over the world at every Passover Seder, is a reminder not only of the enduring strength of the Jewish people, but of the importance of putting our faith in Almighty God no matter what the circumstance. To all the Jewish families gathering with friends and loved ones this week, have a blessed Passover, and may God continue to watch over the Jewish people, the state of Israel, and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Yeah, did you see what Trump did yesterday? I showed it on stream, but I was streaming really late. Douglas Murray goes on with Dave Smith, and Dave Smith now is crashing out. I don't know why, but I mean, there's definitely been some really interesting reactions to that Murray versus Smith. It really is divided. Like, seriously. I thought pretty much like 85% of the internet was going to side with Smith over Murray, but it's more like people are like, oh, Murray is so much more articulate and all this. But Trump tweets out on Truth Social Douglas Murray's book right after the podcast. And this was clearly an Israel versus anti-Israel type dynamic, with Dave Smith being anti-Israel, anti-neocon. Douglas Murray was like trying to police, like, you can't even mention a neocon's name, it's racist, it's anti-Semitic. And then Trump tweets that out. I just, you know. Bibi talked to Tim Pool and made this happen. Well, he wouldn't have had to talk to Tim Pool. I wonder who else was with Tim Pool. Tim Pool said it was like an influencer meeting where there were like influencers with Pool, and they met with Netanyahu. Not really crashing out, pretty vanilla. I mean, when you have a debate, this is what I feel like. If you're a public figure, you have a debate, and then you keep constantly tweet about it. It never really looks like right after the debate. To me, it just doesn't come off as like you were confident in your performance. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Weird vibe from Smith, always talking about well, also there were some people that are very obviously anti-Israel that got mad at Smith because he wasn't pushing back against Murray and talking about some of the lies that Murray said. Murray sounded left-wing. The right has become insanely woke on Israel, policing speech on Israel and Jews, and saying criticizing Jews is anti-Semitic, straight up leftist. Yeah, I mean, I don't support when Trump does that. There's just like this Israel conundrum within the right now, and obviously Trump is very pro-Israel. Well, it's just this weird thing to where I don't know exactly what the dynamic. Trump has a very odd relationship, it seems like, with Israel, to where if you look back at his first term, it wasn't necessarily like this. Obviously, the war makes it different now. There has to be a lot more talk of Israel, but it's just the strange way that Trump treats Israel relative to his America First rhetoric is very obvious to a lot of people, and so it's we'll see what happens with that situation. But and yeah, I mean, you're starting to. The thing is, the problem with doing what they're doing, they got these kids on visas, these students who are like pro-Palestinian, and the kids will like chant "Death to America" or some bullshit, and they'll remove them from the country. And Rubio's just extremely pro-Israel. The problem is the left will use that against you when they get in, and they'll do something about right-wingers saying something, and they'll use it as precedent. Like, do we really want to do this for like 3 college kids who are protesting? And that's the other thing, is it's barely anyone that's being removed, but it's the president of it. You're setting the wrong precedent. It's a disqualification to obtain citizenship if you criticize Israel. Did you see this? Yeah, I think that's mainly false, honestly. I think it's more so if you like if you're like an activist who constantly chants negative things against the United States. That's what it was. It wasn't necessarily about Israel, I don't think. Mark Kelly was crashing out. That dude, he might try and run for president. You know, Obama wanted him to be president. It was a rumor, I don't know, but back he wanted them to have an open convention for Kelly out of Arizona. Someone on the news today said they're preparing to strike Iran. Can't remember his name, but he is some general who is on boards of 2 defense contractors. Well, I'm sure there's probably preparations. You always prepare for things like that when there's negotiations, and if the negotiations fall flat, then you proceed with the mission. But I can't say exactly what's going to happen with that. It does seem like they're trending towards escalation, but I think there's only like a 30% chance of it happening. But that's just betting. Who knows? You and Trump are at McDonald's. You want anything? I don't know, man. I'm really not that hungry. I don't know. I got like a weird stomach feeling a little bit earlier tonight. I feel a little bit better. You know what? I feel better. I'll actually have an Oreo McFlurry. That sounds good. You can bring that to me on stream. you can send that in. Send that in to me. It's like an Oreo McFlurry. About to order one right now. Did you see Glenn Beck's pathetic video last year after October 7th begging Israel to give citizen? Yeah, I saw it. Like everyone was playing it like a week ago on my timeline. I saw it. Yeah, it's embarrassing, man. Tariff exemptions. Yeah, there were some exemptions on China. Let me see. I just search up China. Probably will come up right away. Like, dude, this is the problem with this algorithm. Why are you showing me stuff right from April 10th? I'm telling you, there is something really wrong with my desktop X search feature. Phones, computers, chips, other electronic devices. But I don't think it's excluded. I think it's down to 20%. But you aren't going to win a trade war against China like this? Well, no, I agree. That's a weakness, and that's the thing with the Chinese is they're very, their government doesn't care about their citizens suffering. Obviously, it's a little bit different in the United States, where Trump doesn't necessarily have that luxury. You're gonna have to. It's just that's the leverage play for China is they don't really give a shit. They'll just wait it out. Hat reveal, maybe at the end of the stream. Jews and Muslims, you don't like either. Well, it's just the Middle East involvement and constantly doing this for the United States is it's unfortunate. Not liking what I see from Trump, the belief that we need to dictate our foreign policy off religion is not even the dominant religion here is insane, but you're not surprised. Well, obviously, I mean that you're talking about the Middle Eastern stuff. The Middle Eastern stuff is very unpopular, but people seem to be criticizing Trump now with tariffs as well. So I try and swing it positively, but when you back down like this, it's not a great look. Burr was wrong. Truth is Hitler was driving east to defeat Stalin. He said he wanted France for the French and Britain for the British. His intention was never to take over. Well, he certainly respected the British Empire. I mean, you can't really say for sure if he would have defeated the Soviet Union, but they did want Lebensraum in the East. You can't say for sure after that what happens, but he did have serious respect for the British Empire. You can't tell what this tariff move means. It seems really strange. Trump would show any weakness within 72 hours. He isn't stupid, must know what would happen. It's confusing. Well, it's from a lot of these American companies lobbying Trump and probably giving Trump something. That would be my guess. Obviously, the industry when it comes to any electronics from China is massive, and the markup is the margins are just ridiculous. Ever get a dark MAGA hat? Yeah, I have. I think I have one in my room. Will Dark MAGA ever come back? Dark MAGA, man, what a mess that was. That was sad. It really was an unfortunate situation. You think he's not really wanting his Abraham Accords to go sideways, which is why he's throwing so much to support for it? Well, I think it's a bit deeper than that, than just the Accords. Crazy how many Chinese sympathizers have popped up. Good for other countries to put themselves first, but bad if the U.S. says America. Well, I mean, the Chinese sympathizers would just be liberals. Liberals already, especially the further left ones, the ones you'll see constantly online, they already like that type of because it's the the communist Chinese party. A lot of left wing people sympathize with communism. They view it as equality. But I mean, obviously they're not communists. They can't be. Their economy would fucking suck. That's why they switched to a mixed economy in '78. We propped the Soviet war machine up. Oh yeah, like crazy. Lend Lease. We spent the most amount of money on World War II. It's like 4.1. I think it was 4.1, and the USSR was 2.4. But the amount of tanks that we gave them was just insane. Just production. The amount of money we gave them, I should say. Did you see Lebitard interviewed Hassan? Dude, this shit's getting so. Dan Lebitard, the sports guy, interviewed Hassan. What about how great Yemen is? I mean, like, this just is like. I didn't see it. It's kind of interesting that they're both liberal. You believe that tariffing China 400% would have been better instead of listening to billionaires? Same exemptions were made when he made the tariffs on cars. Yeah, 400% would have been extremely aggressive. I wonder if the Chinese would have buckled immediately. I don't think they would have, man. I don't. Well, I wonder if Trump was really trying to push for a deal fast or what he was doing, because he kept raising the tariffs like within consecutive days, and now he's immediately, but this is about, I think, 25% of the imports that are tariff down. So 75% still have the 145% tariff, to be fair. Trump just said inflation is dropping. Americans have more money. Well, hey, there are a number of great metrics to look at. Inflation is probably the biggest one. Yeah, inflation has dropped under Trump really since the day he was inaugurated. It's gone down. It's been cut in half. At least the true inflation has. And even the core inflation data has gone down. And 2 straight months now, really the only 2 months Trump's had, which is February and March, the numbers have been lower than expected. It's come in 0.1%. Or 0.1% lower than expected. Hassan sucks Castro's balls, and Dan's parents were exiled from Cuba. I know. I do remember, because he was an ESPN guy at Lebitar. I don't know if he still does it. But I mean, time is a flat circle. Politics will always find you. Not always, but so many of these people, they just always go to politics. Do you wish it was possible to see real news from China? There's a lot of propaganda YouTube channels that are anti-CCP, but you can't trust them. They make it look like an apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, getting actual legit news out of China. Well, China is just, it is so shockingly different depending on where you go in China, because they do have extremely advanced cities, and what they're able to produce is just crazy in short periods of time because of their population. But obviously, a lot of it is extreme poverty and very poor living conditions. It just depends what you show. Like when I Show Speed goes to China, he's going to the really nice parts, which I'm sure you guys know, but young kids really don't know that. They look at it and they're like, "Oh, China's really nice." Well, heading out Soho. If you have a great weekend. All right, man. You as well. Shanghai is a beautiful, advanced city. There's some crazy before and afters. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the one with Dubai, the before and after in Dubai. What is that one building? Like a hotel or something, where they have the hotel there, and then the before, and it's just all desert. And then 30 years later, it was like 1981 versus 2015 or something. And then they do that with China as well. They just got all these skyscrapers. They can build them in like 30 skyscrapers built in 10 years in the same mile. Insane. See the building collapse in Thailand? Those were crazy, man. Those earthquakes. And just the sheer amount of footage we have of this stuff now, because there's cameras everywhere now. So you get these natural disasters footage we get on them is just... Carney had a rally in Calgary. Whole line was boomers. They interviewed them and said that the Liberal government in the last 10 years sucked, but somehow they're expecting Carney to turn it around. Oh yeah, the guy that got in a month ago that's a banker is going to turn it around. I mean, it's just the blind leading the blind, and it's all old people too. It's like... Yeah, I guess we'll take a look at this ban and stuff. There probably are some clips. Probably some clips with Mar.
But how about this? No politicians in prison. You can impeach them. You can put them to court. We disagree about that. That's one reason why you were in prison.
For a misdemeanor.
Okay.
For contempt.
All right. Well, I'm talking about Trump. But I think...
Oh, they're coming after Trump.
I think once you go to the... Well, you guys started it with lock her up, okay? Once you... Let me just...
But isn't that an argument against Mar? Trump said it as a joke during a debate and then didn't act on it. And Trump said that he wanted to move the country forward and not focus on legal stuff with past political figures. They're the ones that dragged Trump through the mud. So that's actually they're like cheering it. Oh, Trump said lock her up. Then he never acted on it.
Let's get it out.
Hang on. And she should have been locked up, and we didn't go after her.
I guess we don't agree then.
No, we're not supposed to agree.
But I think once you go to
one good night at the White House shouldn't make you soft, Bill.
Yeah, Mar's like...
You're the one who just got out of prison.
Yeah, Mar's like kissing Trump's ass. He's like, oh, it was such a great time. It was amazing. You also put some money on Polymarket. Trump ends capital gains on crypto. Seems likely the odds are low. What's your take? Yeah, I agree. That thing is very... He might do it, which would be good, because I think what it would do is it would eliminate the need for us to file on every transaction that we do within crypto. It's just basic, but I don't think it's necessarily what people think it is, but it would still be good. But I'm not sure if it actually will. I think it's just based off of it. It should be ended, because the way that crypto is now, how you have to report every transaction. It's not just money in, money out, meaning like you deposit fiat and then you take fiat out, and that's what you get taxed on, whatever you make. It's like, you know, if you exchange Ethereum if you exchange USD for Ethereum and then Ethereum for something, that's a taxable transaction. Exchanging Ethereum for like a shitcoin, I think that's bullshit. BTC at 86K. I know. Yeah, I'm in some meme coins. Some of my meme coins are starting to do a little bit better. Some of my trading ones, I mean, the news ones are just getting destroyed though, because there's no news on anything. The Epstein stuff. China doesn't have destructive DEI, import Arabs and Africans nonsense, or people who hate their country like the West does. Plus, Western infrastructure is decaying. I've heard China's economy is extremely flimsy. I mean, a lot of their economy is based off of trade with the United States. But I know what you're saying in terms of immigration, for sure. But I mean, you know, that's really an unfixable thing right now when it comes to the United States, because we've got such low birth rates, and it's a problem in the West. So, I mean, I think ideally you shut everything off in terms of immigration and you try and get your birth rates up. But that's a process that takes decades. You believe in the stock market, only crypto? No, you can certainly make money in the stock market. It's easier to make money, I would say, in the stock market for sure. But it's easier to make a lot. Depends how much money you have, whether to deploy it in crypto or the stock market. If you have a lot of money, it's probably better in the stock. It also depends on where you're at in life, the responsibilities you have. Lots of the alternative conservatives really like to dick suck China. You know, Tate loves to suck off China. Can't be against globalists and like to see. Wait, Andrew Tate likes China? Yeah, that's a bit surprising. To me, I think, like, in terms of who likes China, I would definitely say it's young people online that are very far left. Like, the age range, like 18 to 22 liberals, they probably really like China. And you look at, like, their immigration policies and their racism against other races. Do you want to be like China? Let's implement what China has. I don't think they really want that when you say it like that. But weed coin pumping, I know, dude. I think that's gonna be a big winner. The one dude shouted it out to me, and I bought it. And the thing is it's not even close to 420 yet. It's still over a week away. So hopefully it just goes to like 10 or 20 million. That's the hope. Hope you love your channel. Hope you can keep the interaction. It stays the same when I have millions of subs. That's gonna be tough if I had millions of subs. I don't know if I'd be able to communicate to chat like this, but I mean, I think I'm at like almost 280K. I'll definitely do it. Hopefully, as long as the timing is correct, I'll do a 300K stream, or I'll push for it. Unless I like hit it at like 5 a.m., that would suck. But I don't know when that would be. I mean, if I had to guess, I think I'll probably gain 4 or 5K subs from the Canadian election. I don't know for sure, but I think it'll probably do well. Because I do have Canadian people that watch it, and when I do a live stream on the Canadian election, it's going to immediately be pushed up. I mean, it's not going to be like the US election, obviously. I'm not going to get 50K, but I should get a decent amount of people leading into the election and then during it. Isn't China's birth rate below replacement? Dude, like, only Africa's birth rate is above replacement at this point. It's a huge problem everywhere. But I mean, if you have a poor immigration policy on top of that, your demographics are going to get fucked up a lot easier because your citizens are not reproducing, and then you're bringing in immigrants. But the countries in the East really don't bring in many immigrants. I guess it depends the country, but look at Japan. Japan's probably going to have to bend the knee and start importing people, allowing people to come in. I think they already are. I read a story that they were, because they have extremely strict immigration policies. They like let in 82 people in like 2022 or some crazy shit like that. Total. Stock market long-term wealth accumulation. Yeah, absolutely. You're not with crypto. It's never long-term. It's because of the market cycle. It's just way too much volatility. You're better off taking it out every 3-4 years and then reinvesting. Stock market, you just leave alone. You got my Oreo McFlurry. You're outside in a limo DoorDash. You got the black, what is it, Uber X, Uber Black or some bullshit. I had to take an Uber when my car broke down, but I just took the regular one. Uber Black, it's like $40 to go 3 miles. I'm like, damn. We need no tax on crypto. I know, but it's like, that would be crazy if there was just no tax in general. Because capital gains is one thing, but just no tax in general. X, if chat gets big, bro, you better not forget about us. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's really going to be an issue, honestly. I don't really see me. I mean, not that it really matters. I'm making good. I'm pretty. You're never really content, you know. But the mainstream stuff, it's not. I don't know, man. Like if I go mainstream, let's say, and I'm not even saying I can do this, but I'm just saying you start appearing on these shows. It's like are you just a Trump shill? Am I just a Trump shill? Do I have to explain how everything's good with Trump? So it's like, I don't know, man. But I mean, it's like I'm at the point to where, maybe I start branching out. I don't know. I mean, I make enough money, I feel like, to where as long as I manage it properly, I'll be fine. I'll be comfortable, but I don't know. Bannon sounded unhinged on Bill Maher. Well, it's pretty normal. What do you expect with Bannon? Got to do a stadium video soon. I know, I haven't done one in forever. I wonder how the algorithm would treat a stadium video from me. I probably still get the okay views. It depends if there's like huge news. If there's like crazy news on a stadium, I might do one. Just for the hell of it. Heard Russia did drone strikes. If one country presses the nuke button, the world is over. Well, the country would be Russia. I mean, nobody's going to be aggressively nuking Russia. Russia would have to nuke someone, and then it would be returned. But I mean, the thing is, this is something I've noticed with these liberals. I saw the argument from Destiny. He was like, the United States is cucks to Russia, and we should be the aggressor, and we should... I mean, I guess he was basically... He was saying that the United States and NATO need to send troops in to get that land back for Ukraine. Because he says we're bitches because, I mean, the Republican talk... I mean, and this is what Biden's viewpoint was as well. It was, we're not risking nuclear war, so we're not involving NATO troops. He's like, well, we should send NATO troops to get that Ukraine land back. But it's just like, I mean, do you have inside knowledge on Putin and what he's thinking? If you do, please tell me. It's like, come on, dude. Real easy to sit here and say that Putin's not going to do anything. But I mean, Putin does shield himself with nuclear bombs, 100%. And in a war, I mean, NATO would crush Russia and they'd push him back. But I'm not too... To me, I don't really give a shit about Russia annexing the Donbass. Stay solid to yourself, nobody else's platform. That's when you gotta kiss ass. What, when you go on other people's shows, you gotta do that? Yeah. Alberta oil, Saskatchewan uranium. I saw we have a big deposit of uranium in the United States. If you want to be a big, like Benny Johnson, become a Trump shill, nothing wrong with it. I mean, honestly, I already am a Trump shill. I do try and paint things positively for Trump. But it's like, I don't mind doing it. I mean, I like Trump. It's fun to be, galvanized behind a leader. I like that. And I'm not going to abandon Trump. Do you think Trump caved to China? Well, I mean, it depends on what you would have to define cave, because it's complicated. He basically took off tariffs on around 25% of our imports. He didn't take them off. He brought them down to 20%, from what I know. Imports from China, so 25%, a fourth of the imports are now tariffed at a much less rate than the 145%. Liberals are warhawks now. Interesting how things change. Republicans, I know. That's why the party switch is such fucking bullshit. Like, parties change over times. People don't just say, oh, now I'm a... It's like, this is still the Liberal Party, but they want war because parties change. Their opinions on certain things change. You don't consider me a Trump shill? You follow some Trump? Yeah, I mean, I don't do it as much as they do, 100%. I try and stay away from some of the Israel stuff, though. To be honest, I just don't think it's good for Trump. What is this rapid response? It's Trump propaganda. Yeah, rapid response 100% is Trump propaganda. It's in the account. Just updates on good things the administration is doing. Imagine how you'd have to act to get invited to Tim Pool, Daily Wire, Benny. Well, I mean, I don't think Daily Wire really invites people. I don't think they really do that. Benny Johnson has. I saw Benny Johnson have Andrew Tate on. I don't know. He has like normally political people on. He'll have like Republican representatives and things like that when he does his shows. He went on PBD. Benny Johnson did. That happened just like 3 or 4 days ago, I think. Still speak your opinion, though, and don't always agree. But there's things you and me and all of us don't understand why Trump does it, but you can still... Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff with Trump, it is hard to really explain away. But I mean, a lot of it is like deeper underlying dynamics within. The thing is if Trump does pretty much anything, I mean, obviously if it gets to a certain point to where the economy is not performing to where we need it to be, it becomes different. Trump could really do any type of economic move and I'll be able to defend it because of trade-offs within economics. I mean, outside of just ridiculous shit. How was your Oreo McFlurry? You're kidding me. I mean, what am I eating, air? Is it true Trump wussed out on China and the tariffs? Well, it depends. It's, you know, maybe I'll do a video on it tomorrow. Around 25% to 30% of the tariffs that are being, the imports from China are tariffed at a much lower rate now. Trump got lobbied by Apple and big tech. That's my guess. All right, I'll take a look at Rapid for you, man. All right, we got some stuff here.
Your administration announced exemptions on the China tariffs, iPhones, computers, televisions, that kind of thing. You're preparing separate semiconductor tariffs. Can you walk us through that decision?
I'll give you that answer on Monday. We'll be very specific on Monday.
Are you suggesting
we're taking in a lot of money. As a country, we're taking in a lot of money.
Your administration.
Right. Well, they had to exempt tariffs on semiconductors. We're way too reliant on Taiwan for semiconductors. That's why. I mean, we have a good relationship with Taiwan right now. Their semiconductor company just invested. It's probably because of that, honestly. I mean, if their semiconductor company invests $100 billion into the United States, and we already do rely on them so much for semiconductors, we don't have the factory set up to be able to build the semiconductors right now at the rate that it's needed. So I understood why Trump limited the semiconductor tariffs or exempted the semiconductors. It seems like Trump's going to be making some big announcements on Monday.
Inflation's dropping. Americans have more money.
Inflation's dropping. Americans have more money, and the country has more money. You know, we've been making $2 and $3 billion a day the last couple of weeks. We didn't make that ever, and we're making a lot of money. And then
they're making $3 billion a day off tariffs. I don't know. He's insinuating that. I mean, that would be crazy if they made that in a year.
Nice, I lowered the tariffs on everybody, but we've been making a lot of money, and it's always been the other way around. Other countries, in particular China, was making a lot of money.
It's interesting. I was with you on the campaign this time last year, and Americans were telling me they weren't planning to take a summer vacation.
J11, thank you for that, man.
Because of inflation, gas prices, airline tickets. It's a different scenario now. What's your message to the American family when they buy those summer vacations this year?
Well, we have no inflation. We have lots of success. We have a lot of great things in the hope column. We hope it's
energy sector.
It's going to be concluded, some of these things. We have a border that's totally sealed at a level that nobody's seen. Even during my 4 years, I was very successful with it, but I think we have it even a little more closed. We are allowing people into the country, but they have to come in legally. But I appreciate your question. Yeah, we have no inflation, and people are doing well.
Ever since Tank got out of jail, he became political. You remember liking him for political reasons, but he wasn't political when he got famous. You guys shouldn't be talking about politics. Yeah, he's really political now. I mean, they all do it. You know, he was mainly talking about women and relationship dynamics and stuff. And yeah, well, he's become more of like a troll as well. Like the whole running for office in the UK, and it's just all performative for like trying to get a reaction out of people. If what Trump is saying is true about getting so much money from tariffs, well, I mean, what he is saying is obviously not going to continue. He's saying they made, $2 billion. That's when all the tariffs were crazy. Tariffs have been lowered. I mean, they're not going to be making $600 billion a year off these tariffs because the tariffs are already dropped. But he was probably talking about when they initially put the tariffs in place, they were raking in, $2 to $3 billion. But I mean, Trump, there's so many other factors that play outside of just being able to make revenue off tariffs, so obviously that had to be changed because of the yield and other things. I mean, we're not in the position to produce some of this stuff, and the prices would just be so exorbitant. When will we see the lower prices? Well, I mean, it's going to take time. I think it's gonna take several months. I mean, we're only 2.5, 3 months into Trump's administration. So if you start seeing the economy turn around within 3 or 4 months from now, you get 2 or 3 Fed rate cuts. The inflation is down. I mean, that was really what Trump wanted. You needed the inflation to be down to be able to do this. And if it was a liberal in office, they probably already would have done an emergency rate cut. The liberals would have never handled it this way. The exemption. Well, you know what? Someone should have asked him about this. There's a point at which you have to either put up or shut up on securing peace. And yeah, he is right. I mean, the Russians have stalled the shit out of this.
Are there other talks that are going well in addition to the Iran?
There are other talks going well. I think Ukraine, Russia might be going okay. And you're going to be finding out pretty soon. There's a point at which you just have to either put up or shut up, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's going fine.
Productive. Thank you for that $10. Enjoy your content. Thank you for the coverage. What is your background? Why are you a Trump supporter? Well, I would say I started following politics in 2015 with the epic Republican primary. Loved Trump from the first debate, and I mean, I was always going to be a Republican, whether it was Trump or someone else. But I'm happy that the MAGA thing took off, and it's kind of more of a aggressive style of politics. Obviously, Trump has definitely made politics more entertaining for people, but my background is I was pretty much I've always been a Republican since I was 15. That's really when I got into politics. That would have been 2015, 2016. Make sure to like the stream. Yes, guys, please like the stream. Trump seems totally unworried about everything, attitude and speech. Also, yeah, I feel like he likes doing these plain press little meetings. He seems to really do a lot of these. I don't remember Biden doing a single one of these. But I mean, I guess that's just par for the course. I think we have some pretty good news coming on conflicts, and this press is just, how do you not, maybe they asked Trump and it just wasn't included in here. Does anyone know if there is a clip to where they asked Trump about the update on the China exemptions? Remember when Fox was the go-to for MAGA during Trump's first term? Well, Fox is the Republican go-to. I mean, now there are competitors, but they're not. It's still Fox, but it's just old people watch Fox. And also now it's just politics is embedded on X. It's just all politics on X. That's another competitor, but Fox is still so massive. Like, what is it, Newsmax? And there's another one. There's another conservative one. I don't know. There is someone in your window. This is not even a window. I mean, you just can't troll like that because it's not even a window. It's a picture. It's a picture. OAN, that's it. Nick Shorter may have it. Didn't you just show that? They just asked it. Now, there's a question about Ukraine. And that was a question about semiconductors. The semiconductors were already... I thought that was mainly about Taiwan, the semiconductors. The Rumble lineup is your go-to to watch when you're at work. Well, what is the Rumble lineup? Crowder? I know Poole is on Rumble and YouTube now. Bongino is with the administration, so he doesn't do that anymore. Bongino was like #1 on Rumble. I don't even know how that's possible, but I mean, I guess people watched him. Yeah, Bongino would do his show like in the morning. Fox News fell off after the 2020 steal. Well, they got sued and they bitched out because they were going to lose a bunch of money by Dominion, the voting machines. They're seeing what looks like the reflection of a window on your painting, but it's just the camera light. Yeah, it's the ring light. Just learned about Jefferson State today. Yeah, we need Jefferson to be a state. Actually, that'd be great for Republicans. Crowder, Matt Walsh, and Benny all have a weird vibe. Can we agree on this? I mean, they are great supporters, no doubt, but something's weird. Well, Crowder had the thing with his wife. Crowder, I don't necessarily get a weird vibe with Crowder. Maybe a little bit. I feel like Crowder could maybe be an asshole. You know, I gained respect for Crowder when he was debating Rogan, and Rogan was just being so annoying. That was like 9 years ago. But that's what I remember Crowder for, is the weed debate with Rogan. Rogan is high, and he's just like, fuck you. But then Crowder kind of bitched down. He's like, well, you have someone here pulling up statistics. It's just such a stupid debate, but Rogan was being such an ass during it. And then he like came back on and apologized to him. I remember that. Dude, I remember listening to that podcast when I was at my job in greenhouses. I was listening to it. That might have been right when that came out, or maybe it was like, maybe that came out and then I was listening to previous episodes or something. Benny, you think Benny's I mean, Benny is just the typical MAGA shill. That's it. Walsh, I think Walsh comes off as really weird. I'll agree with you on that. Crowder has a bunch of dudes. Don't weekend stream though. Poole is on Crowder lineup. Alex Jones too. Poole has a show on Crowder's network. Poole is pro-Israel. Well, Poole has had some really weird statements. I mean, when you meet with Netanyahu, it's pretty obvious, yeah. Remember getting kicked out of school the rest of the year, just binge all conservative content. Fox, Daily Wire, Rumble, mainly Hannity, Walsh, Shapiro. Dude, I never really did any of that. I don't think I've ever watched Daily Wire. Like, they have an entire subscription and stuff. I mean, I watched Shapiro sometimes, but you know. Go do wifey things. Yeah, remember the camera, the little camera they had that caught that? Trump is caving everything he promised except the ones. Well, he promised to stop the illegal migration, and he stopped it completely. He promised to lower inflation. He's also done that. But also, it's very early in the administration. We'll see if the wars get ended and see how many deportations there end up being. I mean, look, you're probably not going to get mass deportations. They don't have the infrastructure to do that. They just don't. Your friend kicked a 53-yard field goal at a high school today. That's pretty nice, man. They're all on Rumble Premium. It's their conservative lineup. Oh, so they all get a bunch of money for that? Crowder has a whole thing on Rumble now where it moves you from one podcast to the next. Tim Pool right after Crowder. Wedge Crowder sometimes, but not much others. Alex Jones sometimes. I didn't know Alex had it. Wait, so it's a live feed of Alex's show? Is that what it is? So it goes from Crowder to, in the morning, Crowder to Pool to Alex? Trump is with Rogan today? Well, yeah, it's because of the UFC event. Asmongold is low-key lib. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, dude, that's the thing, like, if people don't agree 100% with ideas, people say, oh, they're on the other side. But I haven't watched enough of Asmongold, but I would imagine he's probably moderate right to moderate in general. But he's definitely playing up the Trump thing. I mean, I would imagine pretty much all of his chat is MAGA. And you can do that. You get some audience capture, but to a degree, I mean, he doesn't really make any crazy, I feel like, I mean, I don't watch his stuff though, that's the problem. But when I see clips of his, he doesn't really seem like he makes any crazy erratic points one way or another, which honestly is pretty, for him to get that type of audience. I guess it's a normie audience. You think Doge has been a bit of a letdown? Elon said 1 trillion, now he said 100 billion. Yeah, dude, you know what happened with Doge? They just couldn't find, I mean, it is insane, but what happened? Shouldn't they be looking at the Pentagon? But the other thing is, it doesn't really compute. It's like, didn't they save $100 billion from getting rid of the Department of Education? So shouldn't that be added on? But I mean, yeah, Musk said they're going to save $1 billion. Obviously, they wanted to save $1 trillion. I mean, if you can't make up the fraud, but you would think if we have this crazy deficit, there's going to be more fraud. I mean, but you can't just make it up out of thin air. You can look for it, but dude, I think, God, my ear hurts. I'm not even kidding. There's another between Pool and Alex. You don't watch them. You don't have premium, so you don't know who exactly. It was probably Bongino. How far can you throw a football? 40 or 50 yards? Dude, I would throw my arm out if I tried. I'd have to really work up to it. I haven't thrown shit in a while. I mean, I'm a lefty. I used to. I mean, I have a decent jump shot. I can throw decently fast. But right now, there's no way. Sean, what's up? The whale enters. The whale makes an appearance on a weekend. So someone in Asmongold's chat told him he edges off to every Trump announcement. He was saying, I mean, obviously it's all internet brain rot jokes. But where was he like making fun of Asmongold for talking to about him? Asmongold said he was going to vote for Vance next election. Well, I mean, I think it's a bit early for that. But I mean, we can understand we're not voting liberal. It's just never going to happen. He's kind of like Rogan, some liberal beliefs, but overall, yeah. No, it's an interesting strategy. And the thing is having that type of belief system, it doesn't pigeonhole you on certain ideas, which can be better in terms of arguments and debates, being able to maneuver out of things, as opposed to, there's certain things you debate, you got to defend Trump on, even if it's like, well, I mean, I guess not. I could say, well, you know what, the Israel stuff is shit, but then you like concede the point. Maybe the fraud is plenty enough to make a lot of elective officials rich, but still a drop in the bucket compared to the budget. Yeah, I know. I just think the budget, if they can't find it, you can't make up random numbers. It's just, it is what it is. But I mean, obviously it's a letdown. They didn't know what they were going to find, really. Musk can say, well, we're hoping it's going to be $1 trillion or whatever. I don't know. I mean, they've cut a lot of stuff. They've cut a lot of salaries. You think that would go into it? See the UFC walkout? Is that on here? Probably copyright, dude. This is an independent. Trump and Shaq. Shaq goes MAGA. Shaq goes MAGA. What's happening with Ben Shapiro? He's pro-Israel. I mean, he's extremely pro-Israel, obviously. You a fan of Andrew Wilson, The Crucible? Yeah, I saw his, did you see his Piers Morgan appearance with the women? Yeah, Piers did that on purpose. It was a funny watch. Dude, I was watching that, and I called the one lady, the big lady, not the trans, the actual woman. I called her the final boss. I was like, that's the final boss, the feminist final boss. And she was actually arguing against trans men being in women's sports, and she was having a spat with the transgender. And then Andrew Wilson was there, and he obviously does it up on those because you got to get viral moments and stuff. And then there's like the fake conservative girl who's like 23, and she's like, I'm gonna outsource. I'm a worker bitch. Oh man. She's like, I'm gonna have a nanny. If you have a girlfriend, she's like, I want to have a nanny. That's not attractive. I mean, it's like it's this working class. You get all these women that get degrees and they want to work, and they have to work in some cases because of how much housing costs. I get it. It's dual income, but it's just like they're so aggressive with jobs. And Shaq said he likes Trump, but didn't like some of his rhetoric, wanted him to tone it down. Well, that's just a typical answer for a famous figure who doesn't want any brushback on supporting someone. J11, $20. the baby whale. The baby. Sorry for all the truth bombs tonight. Dude, I appreciate it. Ernie Johnson bitching from inside the NBA. Remember when Ben Shapiro made a rap song? Yeah, I do remember that. It was a while ago. Thoughts on Tucker Carlson? You love his laugh. Makes you trust him immediately. Dude, but the problem with the laugh is it's just it can be too much. It can be too much at a certain point. It's such an outrageous laugh. I mean, I understand why you would like it. But Tucker, Tucker's definitely gone more right wing, and I haven't really seen Tucker do a ton of stuff. I know he did the podcast with Alex, but recently I haven't seen Tucker do a ton of stuff. It's felt like he launched that X show, and he was doing a lot more than he is now. Where did you get into Weedcoin? Just somebody in the chat told me to look at it. I thought it was a good chart. It's actually tanking now. God damn it. Well, it needs to hold this. Just hold. Come on, man. Just give me one. Just give me one. Why would it tank right now? There's a sell-off of it. We need to just get to 10 million. Just get it to 10 million. Get a little 20x from 500K. We've got the alternative conservative trad cons now. They still hold whore tendencies. If you're a trad con, you wouldn't be online yapping. Well, that's the funny thing about them is like they're influencers that are the traditional, trying to take up traditional marriage roles, but I mean, you're like an influencer here. So it's like, but I don't know, man. What do you make of Trump making an exemption on smartphones and tablets? A step for bringing Apple. Well, you know what? Maybe you're right on that. I don't know. I didn't hear of any deal Trump made. Obviously, there could have been a deal that was announced behind the scenes with Apple to where we'll lower the tariffs if you commit X number of dollars to invest in production in the United States. That could have happened. We don't know that. Trump said everything's going to be revealed on Monday. So we'll have to see. But look, I think it's obvious appeasement to big tech to a degree. But again, there might be negotiations to where if there was a commitment, they said, these tariffs are hurting us, please stop. Okay, there needs to be a commitment for domestic production that you guys make in terms of an investment. You are sort of newer and was invited in by one of my Discord mods. You were wondering if you could promote your new Discord server called Debate Stage, where people have formal political debates. We don't. I mean, I gave you there. I gave you. I mean, I don't need you spamming the chat, you know. But you can go. You're saying promote it on my Discord? I mean, you can make one post about it, I guess, man. My Discord really, I don't think is really gonna be all that interested, but libs should try to cancel the 7'1", 300-pound Shaq. Yeah, I mean the stuff with like canceling people. Remember like when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think, were seen with Trump and libs were like pissed off. It's like all these liberal NFL fans try and gatekeep, and then they see the politics of their players and they're like, how can you take a picture with the president or at the time the former president?
Making the entrance right now.
Dana White is there. Hi Trump. I think that's the other Don Trump's son or something.
To a standing ovation, the 47th president of the United States of America.
I don't know why it's lagging.
CEO Dana White and others, Donald J. Trump.
That's in Miami. Hey, Hockey, I don't think so. I think I'd be saying that. I think the timeline would say something. Will Pennsylvania legalize weed? I don't know. I don't know about the politics in PA for that. Seems like a lot of states are moving to legalize it. PA is a swing state that's shifting more conservative. But I don't know. I mean, even conservative people seemingly want it legalized. I don't really care either way. Did you ever go to that Trump rally? No, I was going to go to that one in Butler, but I never did. That would have been, I'm not even sure I would have been able to get into that one, honestly. The line was just, that was an insane rally. People got there at like 5 a.m. That's the thing with those Trump rallies, if you know, people started going to those. Oh, there's Rogan. Let me see this.
Have the president with us once again.
I don't know why it's lagging like this, but dude, Rogan's like, bro, don't mog me. No, I'm kidding. Daniel Cormier. Baseball is extremely conservative. Most player hate pride. Well, yeah, I mean, the demographics of it are way different than the NBA and the NFL, so it makes sense. But I mean, most athletes in general are going to be more conservative just relative to their counterparts in the real world because of how much money they have. What weapons do you think Trump was talking about a few days ago? Saying we have weaponry more powerful than anyone knows. Well, I mean, obviously, we're not going to know every piece of weaponry the U.S. government has. But that's just normally how what Trump does is very vague and stuff. So that's, you know. He was talking about us developing a Star Destroyer. No, I'm kidding. He has so much energy for an 80-year-old man, near 80-year-old. Yeah, so he's 78 still. Tax hikes for OnlyFans, you're for it? I said to ban OnlyFans. I do think that OnlyFans should be banned. I think it has such a negative effect. I also would look at TikTok as well, honestly. But then they'll accuse you of being like pro-Israel if you say you want to ban TikTok because it's like a Palestine and young people just hate on Israel all the time on TikTok. You know, the Israel stuff, it's gotten to the point to where it's so much hate. Some of it's just, some of the narratives are just not, I mean, there's a lot of Israeli involvement, I agree, but like some of it is it's a bit outrageous, honestly. Like some of the things that people will say, the rhetoric they use, it's like some of that shit's just doesn't really make a lot of sense. He bitched Rogan. There's nothing Rogan can do about it. He's how tall is Rogan? 5'5". Rogan says he's 5'7". People say no, he's 5'5". Rogan says he tries to be like 5'7.5". You know, I'm like 5'10" personally. I would probably be mogged by Trump. I would have to try and manipulate the height difference somehow with Trump. Not good for women or society. Well, it's like a double negative because women make a ton of money off of it, and then it's like you're making money off of something that's so negative. You can only get worse. You're being rewarded for something that's just not good. Where do we draw the line? It literally changes your brain. I know they're trying to do stuff. I know they're trying to do stuff in certain conservative states to get rid of it. You think anti-Semitism has grown since October 7th? Obviously, I mean, it's just... And obviously, also, it's Musk having X now. You feel like your streams are getting repetitive? Well, I mean, it's just me answering chat. If there's big news, listen, if there's big news, I'll report on it. I talked about stock market dropping, the stock market going back up, the Trump tariffs. We just haven't had a big breakout story that I can spend an hour or two talking about. You know, the Zelensky versus Trump thing, I was doing streams covering that. But, you know, it's a Saturday night. There's really not much here. But I agree. I think, you know, I'm trying to get people to come on. I'm going to have guests at some point. You think he was talking about gravity, manipulation, weaponry? Yeah, but dude, the way he talks, he'll just say, I mean, obviously there's weapons that we don't know about. So he can just kind of say that no matter what. He might not even been talking about a specific weapon. Rogan is 5'8" in heels. He's like, he says he's like 5'7", but then then he's like, no, I'm lying. Like, no, you got me. I'm actually 5'5", but I don't know, he might be like 5'6", but he said he shrunk. You think you'll ever meet Trump? Probably not. What do you think will happen with Israel Palestine under Trump? Probably there'll be a displacement of the Palestinians. What is your height? Well, with shoes, I'm like 5'10" and a half, honestly. But, you know, I'm about like 5'9" and a half. Without shoes. Do you have any college football mini helmets? No, I don't. Get Gavin Newsom or go on his podcast. For me with Gavin Newsom now, that would never. I don't even know. Is Gavin Newsom even still doing that podcast? I haven't really seen any clips in like 3 weeks. They probably told him to stop it. He had Bannon on. YouTube doesn't send me notifications about your stream. You only found it 80 minutes. I know, it's so annoying. That's the thing with YouTube. That's a pain in the ass. Really, YouTube, they should put a high emphasis on notifications for streams rather than videos. Like, yeah, it's one thing to notify someone for a video, but a stream is much more important because you have to watch it in a time. There's a short amount of time you can really watch it in so I can interact with people in chat. Girls sell you their content for $5 a month, but then they trap you into having to pay $50 to $100 for their videos. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, guys obviously need to not do that. I think it's you know, but it just the whole setup of it is bad. Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not 5'8". Translation. No, I expect that. I mean, if you want me to give myself an extra inch, I'll just say 5'11", and then you can translate it to 5'9". Best money making ideas. I don't know, man. I don't really do. I wouldn't be able to tell you on what hustles to do, honestly. I mean, I just do YouTube and crypto. Slow news day. It's a good time to throw you a bone. Vincent, thank you for the $20. If you pay for if you need to reevaluate yourself. Yeah, I know. But then people be like, "Well, it's victim blaming." But we gotta get guys to stop doing this. It's a back problem. Yeah, Lily Phillips, Bonnie Blue. I know. Well, that's just next level. They don't really care. They just want money. Is 5'9" considered short? Well, it depends. Like, if you're on the dating market, women will tend to look at. Honestly, it's like average for a male. In Japan, it would be considered tall. In some countries, it'd be considered short. But it's like, you know, it's obvious. You know, guys want to be 6 foot. It's fine. But to me, it's like, I don't. Once you get to a certain height, you got to just kind of accept it. Is it worth buying coins at Coinbase for long-term investment? It depends what coin you're buying, but also long-term. I don't know about long-term. Maybe like 6 or 7 months. There's really not a ton of great long-term options in crypto. It's just because everything's so volatile. Is Trump actually 6'3"? Yeah, he was like 6'2.5" when he was younger, but old people do shrink by like half an inch. He's about 6'2", I think, with shoes, but liberals are just obsessed with it. They constantly like compare his height to other people and say, oh, he's only 6'1". It's like, it's so annoying. Thrill Kill Cult, a Disney chain. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for the donation, man. $5.9 is short in America. It just depends on your perspective. I think it's probably pretty average, honestly. It's average in the world. You could argue maybe a little bit shorter in America. How good is your geography? You know, it was really good. I think I lost a lot of my knowledge on it. I had pretty good memorization of countries and states within the United States during COVID, but I think I lost most of it. I don't know why I did that. I kept doing these quizzes on it. What's your best coin? Weed coin. Weed coin right now. You're 5'5". Am I fucked? Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. It's tough when you know you get down to those 5'6" and below. You're screwed in dating market. I wouldn't say you're screwed. I mean, if you have money, it'll be fine. It was a band out of Chicago. Oh, I was wondering what that donation was. That makes sense. GeoGuessr, but that's not even that's like that's not even quizzes. It's just like I have to randomly guess based off of a picture or where something is. ESPN lost a lot of credibility after the 2020 with BLM and election. Well, you know, they're obsessed with the NBA and the NFL and their liberal sports, and so you know they also have the DEI shit with ESPN. So they're very captured, and they're under like the Disney umbrella as well. Alberta for 51st state soon. Yeah, somebody sent me this. Look at this. Pretty cool. I actually don't have the... Move this over here. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I appreciate the dude who made this for me. I did a video on it just because there's like nothing to do, but yeah, there's Jefferson right there. There's Lincoln County, another new state. There's Greater Idaho. They still only have 4 electoral votes. And there's all of Canada, which is just liberal. Manitoba would vote Republican. I mean, it's possible, but it would depend on the election and the candidates. But I'd say Manitoba is a bit more liberal, but it's nothing crazy. Thoughts on weed? I don't like weed. You know, I don't really do many drugs. I have a thing to where my body is very radioactive against even antidepressants now from a previous thing I had. So I don't really do any of it. But even now, it's like affects caffeine. I'm like very sensitive. I'm not, because I used to be able to drink so much caffeine and all this stuff, but now it's just. But with weed, I never really liked weed. You know, I don't like the smell of it, and I mean, I can't argue passionately against it, so I'm not gonna say, well, it should be banned. But I will say, if I was like a city manager or the mayor, and I smell weed in my city, I'd be like, that's, come on, I just hate the smell of it. Take out Vancouver, it becomes Republican. What, British Columbia? Yeah, but that's a big city. What would the Senate count be? That, well, a lot of these territories wouldn't get any senators. They don't have the population. Greenland wouldn't get a senator. You'd have to exclude a lot of these territories from having senators and governors. Thoughts on Myron Gaines? Yeah, I've seen some of his clips. You know, it's the anti-Israel stuff, but he has some good stuff with like women and things like that, and just how selfish they are nowadays. Let's just take Canada by force. You're sick of the bullshit. That's not gonna happen, man. There's no way that happens. I mean, they might join because Trump economically cripples them. Rural BC is strongly conservative. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the same trend we see in Washington State and Oregon. I mean, there's obviously going to be if it's rural, it's likely going to be conservative. Thoughts on steak? I just had steak today. I like steak. I cooked a steak myself. Weed spikes your anxiety, dude. I get bad anxiety. I don't even know what it is. The thing is I need to look into like something to treat it to, but I'm not sure what I should really take because I'm sensitive to things like that. But I'm gonna have to really look into something, try and help with that. But you take these things, and there's side effects to them. That's the problem. Charlie Kirk or Thomas Massey, who wins in a fight, or just in general at a. Well, Thomas Massey is trying. You know, he's got the whole shtick where he's anti-Israel. He stands up for what he believes, and Kirk is obviously or MAGA. Rare or medium? I always do medium. Yeah, I don't really like. I like cooking it. I don't like the blood. Have you ever looked into those mushroom coffees? No, I never have. I used to drink iced coffee, but I mean, you got to put like a vanilla flavoring in it for me to drink it. I can't drink just regular coffee. I don't like the flavor. Do we integrate Canada and form an alliance to bring Greenland on board? No, that's not. No. No, we would be. Greenland is completely separate of Canada. Canadian politics isn't as polarized, so you can have a Republican win Ontario, Quebec, those eastern provinces. It isn't like the U.S. with deep red and blue state. Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about like huge city centers with a bunch of immigrants that can vote, it's gonna be hard to win those areas. Like Ontario seems like it'd be very, very hard for any conservative to win. But I mean, I would, I guess the reason they would fluctuate more. Maybe just maybe the way Canadian politics are. Because, yeah, America is extremely polarized at this point. We were also different when the country was younger, but even back in the 80s and stuff, and Republicans would win California, and now just certain states, just there's no chance for either party, depending on the state. How did Alaska become conservative with all the liberals surrounding them? There's no population. It's just people moving to Alaska. I mean, if you move to Alaska, you're bound to be more conservative. It's a hunting state. It's a cold weather state. It's all migration into Alaska anyways. And these provinces, you're not, there's barely any people in these territories. They're very sparsely populated. $9.99, thank you for that. Thank you for the little guy there with his chair. Little dinosaur. Whatever happened to those Tim Walz allegations? Yeah, I never covered those, honestly, man. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. I would imagine there's all that shit that comes up before the election. Can't believe how solid red Florida has gotten. Florida and Ohio. It's pretty crazy. Really helped the math for Republicans. And you'd like Pennsylvania. They're saying Pennsylvania might be next with voter registration. I don't know if that's possible, though. We'll see. Thoughts on Candace Owens' Israel takes? I mean, to me, at a certain point, you're kind of just sniffing for something. That's where I think Candace is. Obviously, there's a big blind spot for Israel, so you can take advantage of that. But I mean, it's just constantly Israel with her. Why is Alberta red? When are they conservative? They're the most conservative province in Canada. Lion or elephant? Just in terms of which one I like better. Probably elephant. Lions are beautiful creatures, though. How long until the political pendulum swings back to the left and we elect socialists? Well, I mean, what would that be, AOC? AOC and Bernie running together. Yeah, I saw. It is pretty crazy. AOC and Bernie are doing rallies. They said there were 35,000 people at one of the rallies they had today. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, they do get crowds. I mean, then that is like the socialist brand, AOC and Bernie. But I mean, it always swings. I don't know if it'll swing by 28. Kind of a weird time because Trump won, then he lost as an incumbent, then Biden won, then lost as an incumbent. So now nobody's going to be an incumbent unless Trump somehow runs again. So we'll get either probably Vance or someone else. I don't know, Vance or whoever the Democrats put up. You restart when you get McNamara on 5 Zombies. You know, I turned off their voices because it just annoyed me after a certain point on those. So I actually don't even listen to sound when I play Zombies, but does Nevada officially have more Republicans registered? I don't know. I haven't. And it looks like Nevada. I guess that is Nevada. Because the other borders are weird. It makes it look kind of odd. But I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to registrations. I know the registrations are very positive in Pennsylvania, and I believe also Nevada. Nevada always, to me, is a swing state. They get a lot of migration from California, but it seems to be Republicans leaving California too. Because you would think Nevada would just get drowned out if it's like a swing state. If a bunch of people moved from California, just be like a liberal state, +5 or +6. I mean, look what happened to Colorado. Colorado was like +4, +5. Now it's +15. Where do you see everything going? Tariffs, economy. I think the economy is being set up right now. The foundation is being poured, and we're just gonna have to let the concrete dry. And we will have a very good economy under Trump, because we look at all the economic metrics. Inflation is down, energy is down, stock market is down, which is good because we're going to stimulate it with the rate cuts. And so to me, I mean, with these tariffs, the tariffs are just, there's a lot of wishy-washiness with Trump. We can kind of explain it away. Trump has to be clear which tariffs are staying on, which tariffs he's taking off. So then the market will be more stabilized. Once that happens, now we're ready to go, because he's going to leave some tariffs on. Now, I don't know how much money they're going to generate. I think it'll be very interesting what happens with the auto tariffs, what happens with the renegotiated deals, especially with China and also Canada and Mexico. I think a lot of the trade deals are going to be renegotiated. But Trump has done a lot of things all at once that will help him significantly in the second half of of this second term. That's how I view a lot of this economic turmoil that we've seen. A lot of it is going to be very good, because we're seeing things that this is what happens before we go through a very nice phase when it comes to the economy. If you're able to keep the inflation down, bring in the rate cuts, not going to drive up inflation too much. You're not going to have inflation from tariffs because there's not a ton of tariffs that are going to be staying on. You're also hopefully going to be able to generate money from tariffs. The one thing I will say with Trump when it comes to the balancing the budget, not going to happen. But I mean, that's just the reality with these politicians that come into office. You get money drunk. You need to print money to. I mean, it's like a kiss of death, because you want to balance the budget, but you're talking about like economic blowback from doing that. It's not like as easy as saying, "Oh, the budget is balanced. We didn't spend as much money." Well, there's consequences to doing that. You think Utah will become the next Colorado? Yeah, I know people have been saying that because of the movement. I don't know. I mean, what is Utah like? +30? You know, the liberals were talking about Missouri, Kansas. Those were states that were potentially swinging to the left. Now they're talking about Utah. I don't know, man. Are black Americans on the brink of revolting against Dems and waking up? I don't think so. I'm not seeing that really anywhere. I mean, maybe there's certain cases, but I know black men were what was the voting numbers? 30% for Trump, so it'd be 70 Harris. Black women, it's like 98, 95 to 5. It's crazy. Will Aaron Rodgers ever run for president? He might I mean, he was trying to be RFK's VP. Probably would have been if he was retired. You'll trust Israel when the dual citizen. There shouldn't be any dual citizen politicians, but isn't that like? I'd say like 80% of the country, 90% of the country would agree with that. No dual citizen politicians. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Does Ohio have any cool zoos? Yeah, we have some cool zoos. The Cincinnati Zoo is really cool. There's a zoo. I don't know if it's in Cleveland, but there's a pretty cool Cleveland Zoo as well. Or like it might be like right outside of it. It's not necessarily in downtown. People always think of Cleveland, they think it's a shithole. I mean, it's not great. It depends what area you go. Alberta should be renamed North Montana if it gets annexed by the U.S. I kind of like the name Alberta. But I mean, yeah, you could be looking at changing the names. Should boomers 70 to 75 be required to take cognitive tests in order to vote? Yeah, I mean, but you would be more so a widespread thing with everyone. It'd be like a 5th grade cognitive test. I know Matt Walsh was talking about that. But I mean, then it's just, you're just policing people from voting. That's what they'll say. Oh, it's voter suppression. So, I mean, they say it's voter suppression for IDs. Unusual Whales is a fake X user. Well, I think that account was purchased by liberals, if I had to guess. That's happened a few different times. It happened with the anonymous account too. Basically, liberals will, and they've been doing this with, Trump now in office. They'll buy up these bigger accounts that already have like millions of followers, and they'll just start liberal posting and doom posting on certain like economic factors. Things like, it's just so obvious. Do you support primarying Thomas Massie out? I mean, I understand Massie has his values and he wants to stick to them. When it comes to Trump and his agenda, obviously he's not going to be too happy. This is a Republican that constantly goes against me. But I mean, then people are like, well, Trump's bought by Israel. Well, no, I mean, this is like a fucking budget continuing resolution we're trying to get past, dude. It's like, come on. Well, it's not helping cut the deficit. I mean, it's not that simple. Cleveland as depressing as it looks in pictures. I mean, it's obviously not a that's not a great city. Again, it depends the area you go. They've got some newer areas that are decent, but yeah, you're not gonna. I went to Chicago when I was younger. Obviously, there's some shitty parts of Chicago, but that's a really nice city. I mean, I don't even know. Chicago might be because I was gonna go to New York City and then it was COVID that canceled that trip. But I've been to Chicago, I've been to San Francisco, I've been to Denver slightly, not for very long. What other DC I've been to? I think everyone goes to DC. Any other big cities I've been to? The United States? I don't really think so. Isn't Puerto Rico conservative? No, we don't want Puerto Rico to be a state at all, and neither does Puerto Rico. They want to stay a territory. Most of those people, liberals, peddle this fake shit because they want. There's a decent population in Puerto Rico. They'd get a nice advantage. What time do you start the stream? I started it pretty late, honestly. Started at like 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock. Or was it 8? No, it was 9 o'clock. Puerto Ricans overwhelmingly vote Trump in Miami, where is the highest concentration. I know, but that's not how it works in actual Puerto Rico. They're liberal, man. They do straw polls of elections, and the Democrat wins by like 40 points. What countries you been to? It's all just vacation spots. Like, I've never been to Europe personally, but Mexico, Jamaica, Bahamas, and there's like some other islands, some niche islands near the Bahamas I've been to. I'd have to really remember them because they're like niche names. Not Turks and Caicos. Tulsi 28, want to bet? You think Tulsi's gonna be the Republican nominee? I don't think so, man. I mean, but I don't know what Tulsi's political career looks like. Maybe VP. Have you ever been to Canada? Yeah, I've been to both the American side and then the Canadian side for Niagara Falls. You're funny, man. Tulsi can't beat JD Vance. I mean, probably not. Tulsi VP more realistic, yeah. Owen, thank you for that, man. Do you do brand sponsorships? Would love to discuss. If you do, you're the co-founder. Tropic Shark Energy Drinks. I don't do sponsorships personally, man. Sorry about that. Want to bet? I mean, dude, what's the point of betting in 2028? Like, seems like a waste of time to bet. What are we gonna bet exactly? I mean, where are we gonna be in 2028? Seriously, we could bet on something in 2020, like that's happening now, I guess. Would you ever go to the Philippines to find a conservative girl? It would be very easy. Well, I mean, you know, that stuff is, you know, you go to a country like that, they'll just marry you because you're an American. Do you think Vance is as loyal to Israel the way Trump is? You have your doubts. Yeah, well, they've already got Vance on the whole Peter Thiel bullshit, and so that's the narrative with him. And so, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Vance has said good things about Israel and supporting Israel, and he met with Netanyahu recently. I saw that. Whites need to make more white babies, white guys with Asian wives. Yeah, no, I understand it, but also dude, it's a problem in terms of the dating market. So I mean, I can see both sides of it. I agree with you in general, but it's overvaluing. You know, women overvalue themselves in terms of the dating market. It just is what it is. Sticking. What the hell was that? Like a fucking net that just flew in my ear. Why would I not stick with the Rory McIlroy pick? I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Look at this. This is down. This is so dumb. Like, it goes from a 65% to 47% based on what? I don't even think anything got announced. Oh, I guess because Trump moved the tariffs down on certain things. I'll have to do I'll have to do a video on that tomorrow because there's really not much. Well, the Iran meeting. We'll have to see what happens with the Iran meeting. Wouldn't be surprised if Trump pulls the string on Vance. Yeah, I mean, it'd be something where Trump would have a huge influence on the if Vance wins, because Vance owes a lot of his political success to Trump anyways. I mean, Vance, if you go back to Vance in Ohio in 2022, he didn't perform that well when he won that Senate seat. He was like, he won by like 5 or something. I'm not saying Vance is bad, but it was just like a lot of his political relevancy is based off of Trump picking him. So there's a massive loyalty there. It's not like Vance was already built up. Like, it's not a DeSantis situation to where DeSantis built himself up in Florida. Vance never had that. Wasn't the Iran meeting? Yeah, the Iran meeting was today. But I mean, I'm sure that, you know, it'll take time for it to be reported on. I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up on that meeting. You're betting DeChambeau? Yeah, DeChambeau is at like 28% right now. That'd be a good bet if you win. Ever have a tick on your body? No, I haven't. I felt like I've had like a, I don't know, what is it called when you get like a I felt like one time I thought I had a tapeworm. I get pretty nervous about that type of stuff, but no, I don't think I've ever had a tick. Trump endorsed Epstein coin. Dude, imagine Trump just tweeted out. It is kind of funny how the world works in the 21st century. Like, imagine Elon Musk just tweets out this contract addressed to this coin. That would probably retire me. Like, I wonder if Elon Musk just randomly tweeted a contract address, how high the coin would go. It would at least I think 300 or 400 million, at least, probably more. It is crazy how like that's how crypto is. Like, you're never gonna get that with anything else. Just tweet out a contract address, and it goes to like 700 million. It might even go to like over 1 billion. You got no opinions of Trump backing down on the China tariffs? I've already talked about it several times. I mean, but you're also not really presenting it correctly. That's 25 to 30% of the imports, as far as I know. How is that? I mean, that's really not a back down if it's 25% now tariffed at a lower rate. How much would you want to retire? I don't think retiring at a young age is a fulfilling life. So I wouldn't retire, no matter what I made. But I mean, obviously, you become financially free. Yeah, I have been asked that question 10 times. It was the only news today. That's why. So, I mean, if people want to join the stream, I mean, I'll answer it because I know people don't really like watching the replays. China ready to negotiate? Yeah, apparently the United States and China are both ready to negotiate. They're not going to be raising tariffs anymore. Obviously, China, I'm sure, is very happy with the recent developments of Trump lowering the tariffs in the tech sector. China has been preparing for tariffs way before Trump took office. Well, I mean, there's only so much you can do to prepare. I mean, their manufacturing is based around the United States. I mean, yeah, you can try and diversify relationships with other countries and trade more with the EU and other Pacific states, but the consumer base is just so important for them in the United States. Is Trump not allowed to refine his strategy? Yeah, I know, but the thing is with Trump is it really is just a lot of doublespeak, and I get it. You kind of have to do that. You have to see how the markets react. So that's why with Trump, when you report on him, it's important to be like, well, we can't say this for sure, just because one thing will be said one day, and then he'll do the opposite the next day. Hear about China banning Hollywood movies? Huge W. I just want better movies, honestly, man. So sad because a great movie is awesome, but it's just very rare now to see, especially in theaters. You like caramel apples? I mean, caramel apples during the fall are amazing. The fall is a great time. When you get into the summer months, it's just too hot, but that's where we're headed. I do like the fall. Yeah, I got this. That's the second time that's happened in the past 2 days. Could you sell or more to gain on those coins? Well, I would hold. I'm not selling anything unless you're rotating. Terrified. Terrified. Yeah, that's a movie, you know, that movie with the clown? Or that's Terrifier, I think. Big fan of your content. Chilling with Lewis. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You watch Red Eagle Politics. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know who we debated there. Did you see ICE raided a Denver protest? I'll tell you what, Denver is like the lib capital of the U.S. right now. There's been so many protests in Denver. Colorado has just turned into a lib cesspool. You think Elon would ban OF bots? Well, they're trying to ban them. It's a terrible user experience, but it's like they've been around for so long. I think the other problem with X is a lot of times the replies don't load. Like if you have a tweet that has a bunch of replies, some of the replies don't even load and stuff. It's just overloaded. Alberta is looking to get rid of the RCMP, have its own Alberta. Of course. That's interesting. It seems like Alberta's trying to become really detached from the Canadian government. You see Ohio State's spring game? I saw some highlights of it. I mean, those spring games, dude, are so watered down for obvious reasons. Ohio State probably had one of the better ones. Some of the teams don't even have spring games, and it's such a bullshit reason. They're like, our players are going to be poached because they play well in a spring game. Like, but I mean, that's where college football is right now. They canceled their spring games because they're worried a player might be on tape doing something good, and then another team will tamper with that player and steal him and give him a better deal. Are you expecting any backlash on how slow the deportations are going? I like a question like that. It's like I turn into like the Trump, the press secretary. But no, honestly, what I would say is there's already been blowback within conservative circles on it, and Trump does not have the proper infrastructure to deport all of these people. It just costs too much money. It's as simple as that. You can secure the border, and when you get your big budget bill, you could maybe budget more. I mean, I know they tried to push for more deportations with this recent continuing resolution, but it's hard to deport a lot of people. It costs a ton of money. So I think Trump is going to start getting the deportations up again. I know they've done a lot of press on a lot of these gang members, which is a good thing. And, you know, now you've got this negative press with all these liberal people saying they're citing, like, it is crazy because I watch some liberal channels and stuff, and they'll say, like, one of the biggest negatives of Trump's administration has been, like, falsely deporting this dude with a tattoo of, like, a gang tattoo. It's like, that's the most negative thing, really, is Trump deporting. There's been a lack of deportations of anything. That's the thing with these liberals. If you don't want people to be deported that may or may not be illegal or here temporarily with fucking gang tattoos, you shouldn't let 20 million illegals in the country in the first place. We're not going to be gaslit on, oh, we accidentally deported someone that has a gang tattoo who has a random visa here, and say that, oh, this is a terrible administration. They're doing so many things that are unconstitutional. This is fucking bullshit. You let 20 million people into the country, what do you think's going to happen? We're trying to get them out. We can't even get all of them out because there's too many in. And it costs so much money to deport these people. And then we get this bullshit from liberals. You deported someone that has a gang tattoo, but he's not part of the gang. And it's like, oh, you deported him to El Salvador. Well, we can't manage the amount of illegals you guys have let in the country. We're trying to get people out. But it's just like, that's what they're talking about with Trump. They're trying to say that Trump is being unconstitutional, and that him deporting like these gang members, and you see with the courts, and they're trying to hold it all up. It's all complete bullshit. No one elected any of these officials, these people, and these judges. They're all liberal judges, every single one of them. They've either been like appointed by Obama, or they're career liberals, or their spouse is liberal, or it's all the same crap. Thoughts on H-1B, basically modern indentured servant? Well, the H-1B is extremely attractive to very wealthy businesses because they can hold a green card over the head of the Indian temporary visa holder, and that's what it is. So I think the H-1B is an extremely unhealthy thing. The O-1, yeah, but the thing is what Musk will do is he'll lie and he'll say, well, we need very smart people. Well, you're talking about the O-1 visa, not the H-1B. The H-1B is grunt work coding that Americans can do, but you don't want to pay Americans. You can get some foreigner to do it for cheaper on a 3-month temporary visa. That's the problem with it. Trump's entrance clip is just a little over 2 minutes. Why don't you play it? Well, it keeps lagging. It's not. When something keeps skipping when I'm playing it. And plus, I don't want anything to do with copyright with ESPN. Joe Rogan Experience. Yeah, that's coming out on Monday. You're right. He's on 2,300. He's gonna get to 3,000. I wonder when he'll retire. He'll retire at episode 3,000. Since deportation costs so much, why don't we charge countries from which, well, how do you get them to pay it? Like, this is really, Trump doing these tariffs is like as far as he can go in terms of attacking these countries, in the 21st century. Dude, we can't even get Greenland without people saying, oh, you're a fascist. You can't do shit. You can't lift a fucking pencil to sign a document that says something about another country's sovereignty without people just freaking out in the 21st century. I mean, and now you've got liberals saying, oh, you can't allow the annexation of those territories in Ukraine. We have to threaten nuclear war to stop it. It's like, come on. But it's just, people are very, when you threaten these countries, it's just, you have to be, you have to be on tippy toes nowadays with these, because, and I guess you could say, well, it's because of nukes, but with Trump, it's not because of that, because Trump would never use anything like that on a smaller country. It's more so just the idea that we're fascists because I mean, the Mexico situation is a great example. You remember back in 2015, Trump said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. It's like a campaign slogan. It's like Trump saying he's going to end the Ukraine war in a day, right? But hypothetically, yeah, we probably could have forced Mexico to paying for the wall, depending on if their government could even afford, pay for it, just because how corrupt they are. If we exuded military force, we could have absolutely forced Mexico to pay for the wall 1,000%. But can you really do that? Trump should acquire the moon. How many electoral votes should the moon get? Well, it depends. If there's like a moon base up there, you give it a single electoral vote. Give it an electoral vote. Dude, this dude makes maps. He said he would make a map for me. I think I'm gonna have him make a map with all of Mexico annexed, or like have the moon. Dude, should I make a map and have Mars? just have Mars territory and then give it one electoral vote. I mean, to be honest, we're gonna be getting stepping foot on Mars first. Austin, thank you. You've been watching me for over a year now. Really like the 9/11 stuff and updates with the Trump news. Do some more 9/11 stuff. Austin and I appreciate it. Yeah, I will do more 9/11 stuff for sure. I did do a pretty big iceberg on 9/11 recently, although certainly it's only like 1/10 of the total stuff I could cover on 9/11 in terms of an iceberg. The moon is a swing state. What if we just made the moon like fucking communist left wing, just far left? We made the moon. No, I think would the moon be far left and then Mars be far right with Musk landing there? Musk just sets up a base. It's like far right. gets 2 electoral votes on Mars. Do an iceberg about possible fraud in 2020 election. I don't know. I feel like people that's kind of been played to death at this point in terms of that stuff. The moon would still count faster than Arizona. Yeah, the time. What is the time? The time zone? Oh, the time zone change. Wait, the soul? That's what it would be. It'd be soul, just like Solana. Soul. That's what they do, like Soul 20 or whatever. You learn it from The Martian. Matt Damon. Good movie. Guys, go watch The Martian. It's a solid movie. They don't make movies like that anymore. I mean, The Martian wasn't as good as Interstellar. We understand it. It wasn't as good as Prometheus. You got movies like Interstellar and Prometheus in like 2012, 2014. You're not going to beat it. But I mean, The Martian was. How do you come up with Interstellar? How do you come up with Prometheus 2012, Interstellar 2014, The Martian 2015, and then nothing? Yeah, you get Alien Covenant in 2017, but like, there's just no good movies. I'm telling you guys, this is a serious. It's an epidemic. Ludnick is kind of sus. Yeah, he's Trump's handler. I'm joking. Do an iceberg on COVID's origins. People still think COVID came from an animal in the woods. Well, they think it came from a bat, but I think that's been disproven. Even Biden doctors said that no, it came from the lab. Tier list of U.S. presidents: Joe Biden, S tier. I don't know. President tier list is very hard just because I've lived through so few. I mean, I guess you could calculate it, but again, basing it off of modern principles, presidents, especially someone was talking about James K. Polk, annexing certain territory and stuff, and just how you can't do it now. It's just hard to like grade presidents based off of their time period. I think that's one of the problems with like history is it's just hard to. That's why I like 9/11 because it happened so recently. I'm able to relate to it better rather than like the time periods. But Joe Biden S tier. Yeah, like where does Biden even grade out? I mean, obviously liberals will try and manipulate the Biden stuff and say, well, the Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act. I mean, I don't even know what else with Biden, but I know that's kind of the stuff that they say about him. But it's just like so much, like none of it was organic from Biden. He was so zoided out of it. So it's like, how really can you even grade Biden? He just wasn't there. The Trump beard would go crazy. He had laser hair removal on his beard. I don't know. That's what people were telling me. He can't grow facial hair. They removed it. Laser, because you don't want to shave. You don't want to keep shaving. I haven't fully shaved in a while. If I shave, I think it'll be bad. I think it'll be real bad for me if I fully shave. I mean, you could probably barely even see I have facial hair right now, but you can notice it a little bit. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. I'm going to log off. Chances Jill was using the auto pen. I mean, it was all auto pen. The entire administration was auto pen for Obama. And just other officials, not just Obama, other people, but it was just a joke. All right, I'll see you guys.